Guys, welcome back to my channel. I am slowly making my way down to a fishing spot that I've fished before and have been successful with catching crappie. I'm heading back down here. It's slippery. I'm trying to take my time. It's been raining. There's mud on the ground. And I'm just trying to step where there are leaves and good traction. I'm wearing the best boots I have. Okay, let me turn you around. Look at this spot. I have to get down here to where the rocks are. So let me get down there safely. I'm gonna put you down a bit. I'll be right back. Guys, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, you're fishing with Aaron. I want to say thank you to all of my viewers and subscribers. We're almost 200, so if we just keep plugging away, we're going to get there. And then a huge thank you to the Fishing with Aaron community for all your love and support through your comments and personal messages, and even through some CashApp donations, which really surprised me. If you want to support my channel, again, I'm such a small channel that I am not monetized yet. So the goal is to get monetized, but for now, you can show your support and love for my fishing channel by using the Cash App on your phone. And I'm going to leave my Cash App account here. It's a $sign Fishing with Aaron. Buy me a coffee, drop me a tip, show your appreciation for what I do, gas money, expenses, whatever. It will always be greatly appreciated, as I am a digital content creator out here in this beautiful place to bring you the very best in fishing content. One last thing before we get to the fishing portion, and that is 3 things concerning safety and fishing safety that I always do. It's a part of my routine. The first thing is sharing my location with a loved one. I make sure I do this before I leave, while I have cell service. Out here, I don't really have the best of cell service, so I share my location with my fiance before I leave on any fishing trip. Number 2, make sure you have a first aid kit in your car and in your tackle bag. There's a lot of things that can happen out here, and the prices of first aid kits on Amazon are so cheap. Now, I'm not saying those cheaper ones are always going to be the best. You want to supplement them with a good tourniquet, forceps, all the supplies that you need to control bleeding, or in the event of a gash or a scrape, cut. And that way you can continue to fish safely, or get yourself in a condition where you can get back to your car and seek medical attention safely. Very important thing, have a first aid kit. The last thing, and probably a very often overlooked thing, have enough food and water with you. Have enough food and water. You're out here expending energy, more energy than you are aware of, trying to stay warm, trying to stay cool, and have the energy to fish. You're burning calories. Have those essential foods. Stay hydrated. And I personally enjoy beef jerky, a Slim Jim, a bag of almonds, and I'll bring out a plastic bottle of water that I have put electrolytic powder into, and I shake it up and That produces a drink that's similar to Gatorade, but without all the sugar. That's my personal preference. I just don't like all the sugar. I don't need it. But electrolytic water will keep you hydrated, give you that energy. Again, we're using a lot of muscle groups out here. So you can see walking across these rocks, casting. It's key to give the body what it needs to maintain your muscles and keep fishing for a long time. Enough said about that. Those are my 3 tips, 3 number 1 things. I'll try to come up with more as I go along in future videos, but let's get out here and try to catch some crappie. These are known as the original slab-tailed jig. They are 1 3/4 of an inch long. Love the action on them. They're great for fishing crappie here in the winter time. Oh, fish on, look at that. Okay, looks like a crappie to me, folks. All right, let's get him in here. That guy annihilated it. He hit it so hard. Well, crappie number 1, he's a wiggly guy, but we're on the board. Get him unhooked. He inhaled this thing. Man, we got him good. Look at that beauty. Look at the colors on it. You gotta love crappie fishing. Just amazing. Love the little patterns on the tails and the fins. Not quite a keeper. This was a good way to start. We let him go. Okay, we got a fish on. This looks like another crappie right from next to the structure here. Small guy, but you know, if there's small ones, there's bound to be a family of pretty nice sized ones. Let's admire this guy for a little bit. He is cold. His body feels cold. A little bit smaller than the one we just caught. We're going in the wrong direction, but we're gonna let him go. I was casting right here next to this wood pile, and I was just kind of running really shallow. So I think these guys are doing just that. They're hunting shallow today. So my goal here is to kind of pull them out from underneath this pile. Oh, fish on, look at that. There we go. Oh, he's a jumper too. This one feels like a bass, and it is. Looks like a little bass. I wonder if it's a spot, but let's get him up here. It's bound to happen. Looks like just another common largemouth bass that we caught off guard. Never really get tired of catching these guys. They're beautiful. But this guy's small. His body is cold. He looks like he's feeding up. He's getting a little fat around the belly, so that's good. It's a sign of a healthy environment out here. But boom. We're going after crappie today. That's the second species of the day. Okay, we got a crappie on. I put the jig underneath the float, just kind of to kind of keep it suspended, and I think that's what these crappie love. Oh, look at the size of this one. That is a healthy one. Under the jig and bobber. What a fun technique. He's a little bigger, probably about 8 inches. Can't complain. Another nice crappie here. Just wanted to make sure I show you. We're gonna let him go. I'm reeling the bobber close to me and letting the bait pendulum back underneath it. Sometimes I'll give it a few jerks. I'm not exactly sure where these crappie are, if they're deep or if they're up shallow here. So kind of just experimenting at the same time, trying not to get snagged on the bottom. We're continuing now with the same jig, but without a bobber. Basically, I'm just trying to get down to the very tops of what I think is the brush pile in the center of this creek, and hopefully draw out a big crappie that way. So sometimes just free swimming a jig can get you some awesome crappie. No bobber, more action to the jig, letting it pendulum right back to us. All right, I got, it looks like a bass. Stay out of that wood. I pulled a bass out of that brush pile. That's probably what bit on me earlier. He is a fighter, look at that. I'm just gonna let him wear himself out before I reach down in there. I could boat flip him. Let's get him up here. Try not to break my line. And we are just catching bass today. He is not a pretty looking one. He's got some funky marks. We're gonna let him go. Goodbye, buddy. Let him get back to his brush pile. That was still a pretty fun catch, but right off the bat I could tell that was a bass. I was hoping for some crappie in this brush pile, trying to attract some crappie out of it. Okay, I got a fish on. This one feels really good. It's probably a bass. He's just swimming right towards me. He's swimming right at me. Now he's swimming away. This is a bass. Unless this is a giant crappie. It's kind of silver colored. It's a white bass. I knew it. Oh, okay. Take it easy, buddy. I'm gonna let him wear himself out. I got him hooked pretty well. Tiny white bass. Finally. It has been some time without a bite. So I'm glad to finally catch something here. It's like he bit the top jig. I'm using a double jig rig. I kind of got desperate there. He made a mess out of my jigs. Sort that out later. But there he is. He's a white bass. It's beautiful. Nice lateral lines. Blue, gray fins. Nice golden eye, and he's watching everything I'm doing. Well, guys, the bite kind of slowed down a little bit, but threw out the double jig rig, and look what I got. Beautiful white bass. Look at this little golden eye. Oh. Well, look at his little golden eye. That's pretty cool. He's not exactly a keeper size, so we're going to toss him back in. Let him grow. Okay, so the bite is significantly slowed down, but I've got my double jig rig, and I've moved over here to kind of shallower water in hopes that maybe they're right along. I don't know if you can see, but right in the middle of this creek bed here, there's kind of like an intercline. The side of the creek that's closest to me is distinctly darker in color than the creek on the other side, the other half of this midline here. Could be fish just camped out there. There's only one way to tell. It's cast right into it. I know it's a lot shallower over here, but again, all of these crappie could very well be in these shallow waters. Okay, we got a fish on. Ooh, this guy's feisty. And I'm a bunch of 2-pound line. I got another largemouth bass. It's the middle of winter here, and I'm catching the fish that everybody's wanting to catch. The simple largemouth bass. Caught this guy next to a tree stump using a simple jig. Look at this guy. He's fattening up. That is a beautiful fish. Let him go. Nice small sized bass hanging out by the stump over here. I had something hit really freaking hard. Just right over there. There's a lot of bubbles coming up from that area too. So there might be some fish in that area. Fish on. It's another bass. Okay, we're gonna let him fight himself out. This guy feels huge. He's coming right towards us. Gotta be careful with that. This guy could be another white bass. Make sure I'm recording. Yeah, I'm recording. Nice. He's trying to pull me into the logs. Stay out of the logs. He's giving up now. Looks like he's kind of tuckered out. I'm just gonna beach him. I have a 2-pound line and he could break me off. These guys are really strong. Settle down now. Yeah, another white bass. That's kind of what's back here in these shallows, making a big fuss. There we go. Got him free. Man, he's a hefty boy. Look at the beautiful stripes on him. Just a nice fish. And that's kind of what's been back here feeding on. These guys feed and move, feed and move. They're all along back here. Another species. Well, we've caught a white bass earlier, but this is a really pretty one. We're going to let him go. He's gone. Man, he is gone. Caught him on the double jig rig. He could have been what bit earlier. He might have just been hanging out in that neighborhood over there, just waiting to bully something that was going to come by him. It's been kind of the story today. Just we're kind of having to hit some of these fish right in the face, literally, in order to incite a bite. That white bass was definitely not even a keeper size. So, oh, something took it under. Oh, there we go. Fish on. Fish on. Oh, man, this guy is off to the races. This guy feels pretty decent. He might even be a keeper. Got to stay away from those stumps. Keep him away from those stumps. I only have 2-pound line on, but oh my goodness, is this guy fun to fight. Look at him. Look at this one. Still on the bottom jig. This one's even bigger than the last one. Another white bass. Got to be careful with these guys because these spines are sharp. I was going after, had the plan today to go after some crappie, but if this guy was only a little bit bigger, he'd be a really nice keeper. But beautiful big golden eye. He's just watching you wherever you turn him. They're very responsive, so they're fishing in this, like, they're hunting bait in this really murky water. Watch how fast, as soon as I let him go, they're just like darts. I think I found a pattern over here, just beyond this stump in front of me. I got another fish on. The next cast, there must be a whole bunch of white bass back here. My goodness. This guy wore himself out. He went after that bottom jig again. This one actually looks like a keeper size, but we're not keeping any today because we have caught our share the other day. Plenty of white bass in the refrigerator. In my freezer. Hooked him really good. Right in the nose, right in the snoot. He had me wrapped around the stump. So, not an ideal situation here. Definitely catching these guys on a... Look how long this guy is. At least 16 inches long. I mean, maybe a 14. But another white bass. They're all back here in the back corner. Toss him back. GoPro. Oh, I got a fish on. I got a little something. This guy's a dart. He hit my bottom jig. Looks like a tiny little bass. Tiny little spotted bass, I believe. He's going nuts. We have set a record for today, folks. Tiny micro bass. Hilarious. It's almost comical how desperate these guys are to feed up and get bigger for the winter. But, that's the way nature is. He's not bad looking. He's got some pattern already. This guy's going to be a giant. Get back in there. Well, guys, I think we had a pretty good day here. As you can see behind me, I'm at the very end of this creek, and we caught a good little pattern of white bass. They're still out here, but I am exhausted. It took a while to get back here, and if you can see over my shoulder here, I had to basically navigate all these sketchy rocks. Again, I am used to being out here, but you never know. You could fall and injure yourself, so safety first. People joke around and say safety third. Not me. I'm wearing some really grippy shoes. I've fallen and I've hurt myself on these rocks before. It's not fun. the pain lasts for months, at least for me. So I'm not being some wuss about it, but I could have seriously been injured, and I don't want you to get injured. But the whole plan today was to get onto some crappie, but it seems like we caught multi-species. White bass primarily, some largemouth bass, and maybe one or two pretty good sized crappie. But thank you for watching. If you'd enjoyed the content today, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, drop a comment down below of anything. Say hi, introduce yourself. I'll give you a shout out. I'm always happy to give a shout out to my viewers. Thank you so much for watching. We're almost to 200, and you know, if I don't get any more fishing content here before Christmas time, I hope you guys had happy holidays. We'll see you on the next one.